Bar of freshness, I be on my Excel. Claim they hard, they be Microsoft Excel.
Okay, now what we're going to try to do is determine if this correlation is significant. Okay, right, this one probably is, but you always want to do the test and find the p-value. First thing to do is we're going to make a copy of this sheet. Move or make a copy. Create a copy. Okay, we're going to slide it to the end. I'm going to call it homework 3. Homework 3. Right, so we have our nice graph. So the first thing I usually do whenever I'm looking at something, I always want to look at the average and the standard deviation and the count. So for these first three, we're going to look at the average, standard deviation, count. And since we're losing this, what we're going to do up here, we're going to first freeze our rows. So freeze, right, freeze pane. So if we do this, so now when we do this, let's undo it. See, I highlighted the wrong one. See, we don't want to do that. So let's unfreeze panes, highlight one below, then freeze panes. And now when you slide, it always moves. So that for homework 3. So now at the bottom, I added that bar so you can, the border so we can see it. So now we can do average. It goes equals average. See, a lot of times you can click the tab, it'll fill it in, and then you want to get to average. We want to get to average. For these temperatures, close parentheses, and see the average max was 25. You can slide across, right, and you get 18, min 8. That's too many digits. So if we go back to home, we can get it to look nicer here. We'll click here, and we're going to do 2 digits. That's the average. Then we're going to do the standard deviation, which is equal STDEV. Tab to fill. Grab the ones we want. Close parentheses. Again, slide over. Too many digits. Let's hit up here. Get them down to 2 digits. Then a count. We're going to need to count later. And so count equals count, open parentheses, grab it. One too many, close parentheses, right, 28 days in February. So now we have the count. So you can see that the max is higher than the average, which is higher than the minimum. It all makes sense, 28 days for each of them. Right, so now what we can do is we can actually then try, before I get the p-value, there's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to show you 2 ways. There's one way in Excel and one way out of Excel. Excel doesn't make it the easiest. Well, the first thing you can do is you could do, we could do data from line. What you can do is you can actually calculate the slope and the intercept, right? So you go equals slope. Right, and it's going to want the known y's. We have the maxes on the y's, so do max, comma, known x's. Let's do this. Close. Let's see, 0.99, right? And you can see they match. Sometimes it's nice to have it here so you don't have to retype it. You'll better copy and paste. So you can do equals intercept. There we go, intercept, open parentheses, known y's, we'll grab them, comma, known x's, close, right? And the intercept is the same. And now you can also do r squared, RSQ, equals RSQ. All right, you're going to do the known y's, comma, known x's. So, right, so we can close it. Right, we get 0.906. Perfect. Right, and we can do a couple less digits on this. Make it look, we don't need all this. We'll do 3. But now, if we want to use a website to get the correlation, it wants the r and not the r squared. So you can actually use, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do the function correl, which will do it, right? And that's sometimes nice because you can get the plus or the minus. All right, let's see. So you know if it's a positive or negative correlation. right? And that's 0.951. But then look, if you, right, we can square this. You go equals squared 906, right? So they match. And we're going to do, right, I'm going to fix the digits. Let me fix the digits. We don't need this one now. And so the first way to get the p-value, right, so we want to see if this is significant. So you want to see if the p-value is less than 0.05, is you can go to a website. And then you can close this. I had it, so here's where we did it. So you can search p-value from R, right? Quick p-value from, and so it wants the R score and the N. So now if we go back to Excel, the R score is 0.952. 0.952, and remember 28, so we'll go back. And then 28, and we'll see if it's significant to 0.05 level, calculate, right, and it's actually going to get, the p-value is less than 0.0000, so it's saying it's very small, right? It doesn't actually give us the actual value, it says it's this small, so we'll copy that in. The other way, and if you want to do this, we could do match destination format, make it look a little bit nicer. The other way you can do this is in your analysis toolpack. So if you go to data analysis, you might have to install this in analysis toolpack. You can do regression, okay, and you want your input Y range, so you do this, input Y, input X, right? It's actually better if you have labels. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to go to, I can actually just change this to B2. B2, it has labels. It's going to output into a new worksheet, and I'm going to hit OK. Right, and here it outputs the statistics. It gives you the R squared, which we've seen, the R squared, we've seen that. Right, and it actually then gives you the intercept and the slope. And you can see on this, the p-value here, the significance here, the same as here, that's a p-value, and it is tiny. It's 10 to the minus 15. So you can see it has a tiny p-value. And what I would do is I'd take this sheet and I'd rename it sort of homework 3 core regression. How close? And so now you have two ways to see. So this is the one you're going to want. So you're going to go home. I'm going to highlight this one, right? So this is the one you're going to want. Same as this one. So you see it's much lower than 0.05. So we know it's significant. And that also makes sense from working at the graph. Looking at the graph. So now this is a nice homework 3. We've taken the graph. We've calculated our averages, standard deviations. And then we also shown they're correlated. We recalculated the slope, the intercept, and the R squared, so we have it. We calculated the correlation coefficient, and then we were able to determine the p-value either from the website or from the regression. So you better do it both ways. Good luck.